Hi, this is Lisa Rangel with Chameleon Resumes, the premier executive resume writing company, and thank you so much for joining me today. Today I want to talk about how you can find a company that shares your values, how you can find an employer that shares your values. I can even subtitle this video, how to do job interviews during, a national crisis. It's certainly a difficult time. Many job seekers have to keep searching for a job during times like these. They don't have, despite the tragedies and the major news events that are showing up in the news, what seems like daily and on some days even hourly, they don't have the luxury not to job search. So, job interviews also are still going on despite the social justice, the health, and financial crises that the U.S. and the world in some cases seems to be facing right now. So, it can be stressful for sure. And, but I say you can use this opportunity, as challenging as it is, you can use this opportunity to find an employer that shares the values that you hold dear. So this way you can be really excited and proud to go to work at an employer that shares the same values as you. The world right now is looking at companies, not only their public statements, because frankly, while they're important to know where a company stands in a public statement, it's an opportunity now to look at that company's record in these areas that are important to you. Their social justice records, their treatment of their employees, health, on the health side, their ability to weather these storms financially and how they take care of their employees financially. So, this is an opportunity to look at not only a company's public statement, but, to truly see what their track record has been in these areas. So this way you can align yourself with an employer that shares the same values as you. So how should you handle job interviewing during a national crisis such as this? And how do you find a company that has the values that you hold, again, important to you? So the first step, and there's really no clear path on how to do this, I'm going to be totally blunt right from the get-go, and this is just some observations we've seen over the years, as well as in the last few months in working with clients. But I tell clients, trust your gut. First thing is to trust your gut. If you need to reschedule, do it. If you find that the employer needs to reschedule, just allow it. Not to be all woo-woo, but I'm a big believer if something's meant to happen, it's going to happen. So, if you are not feeling up to it, or you feel like it's unsafe based on this particular area that you're in, whether it's due to health issues or social justice protests or whatnot, if you got to do what you got to do, you got to do what you got to do. So, I say you have to. And if an employer, is accepting of that, that's a sign that you may be on the same path of shared values. And if they're not okay with it, then, maybe you just dodged a bullet right there, right? That you might not be in alignment. So first I always say, just as far as the process is concerned, just trust your gut. The second suggestion that I give you is to be human. If you get a vibe as you're on an interview, whether it's a phone interview, a video, Zoom interview, or, as things start to open up in your area, maybe even an in-person interview, if you're getting a vibe in the conversation that the person just needs to be checked on or is not okay, I'm a big believer in just ask, like, are you okay? Is everything okay? Or how are you doing in all this? Or, sometimes you can't avoid the elephant in the room, depending on what happened in the news that day or what may be going outside, outside the office buildings, the virtual office buildings being everyone's homes, depending on the particular area that you're in. So, I say ask. Being human is bipartisan. And, and people have to go to work, even if they're not mentally in the space to do so. And that includes even conducting your interview. So, if you get a vibe, I think if you cross that line of humanity, I don't think that's ever a bad thing. Even if it has strange consequences or results, frankly, I think it's never bad to be human. I firmly believe being human is bipartisan and it's universal. So if you find that opportunity that you feel like that needs to happen, if it comes out, awesome. I think you've just demonstrated your humanity, which is a great thing, and that's never a bad thing in my book. The third thing is just to remember, especially with number two, being human, and number one, trusting your gut. I'm also a big believer in there's no mistakes. there's no such thing as mistakes in my book. If you find yourself, in the awkward position of, discovering you just, are now with someone who doesn't share the same position with you on a certain, health issue or certain social justice issue, or how, business is being conducted from a financial standpoint. If you find yourself in an awkward position where you are now in the audience of somebody that doesn't share the same values as you, and it results in the interview not going so well, I say don't fret. And I don't say this cavalierly, because I know, many job seekers need to work, and they have to get a paycheck. So I don't say this cavalierly at all. But if in being human, if in being yourself, it leads you to that awkward interaction that could lead to the interview not going well, then I say, what are you going to do? You got to own it and just move on. But more importantly, I think you may have just dodged the bullet of joining a company that possibly doesn't share the same values as you. And so I think, I'm not a religious person, but I'm a big believer in the phrase, I'm a faithful person, and I'm a big believer in the phrase, rejection is God's protection. And you honestly may have dodged a bullet in joining a company that doesn't share your values. So, I find that as challenging as this time is, it's truly an opportunity to look under the hood, look through the research, and see, which companies have not only just put out a great statement, but which ones have been practicing what you preach and what you believe in all along. So this way you can do your best to try to join an organization that shares in the same values that you have in conducting business every day. So, that is to me a great positive in this, very challenging situation that we all find ourselves in varying degrees. So that's, I say stay strong, just keep moving forward, take the rest when you need it, and when you're ready to go, you just keep moving forward and stay true to yourself. So with that said, I wish you the best of luck in your interviewing and in your job landing quest. I do have a resource down below that may help you strengthen your interviews. If you want to take a peek, you'll see the link in the description box underneath the video. Most importantly, if you find that this will help someone, I'm going to ask you to please share it. If you like it, I'm going to ask you to like it. And actually, that's not most important, but it just came out, so sorry about that. But if you think somebody can benefit from this, I'm going to ask you to share it. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to email me at lr@chameleonresumes.com, or you can post a comment below, and I absolutely will read and respond to every comment and every email. And be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss next week's video. And I thank you so much for joining me today, and stay strong. Take care.